I'm with Master Engraver Lee R. Griffiths. Lee, this beautiful Mauser carbine that you put together here, I really can't even say enough about it. The high relief, the add-on. Just tell me about it a little bit in general.
When I first looked at it, the impression I had was this is a box.
Okay. Meaning the gun, the Mauser?
Yeah, the overall
96.
shape of it. You've got the magazine box, which is big, and you have these square angles on it.
Mm-hmm.
From an artistic standpoint, I wanted to do something that would create a little more flow and curve.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought the scroll down around and I added the lion to the front so that the eye could follow it around and break up these square angular areas,
mm-hmm.
the box, and create more flow and movement to it. And this is what we ended up with.
It's absolutely beautiful. I think, actually, since you said box, what's interesting is each one's, I look at it, each area is more like a picture frame to me.
Yeah, they're like individual little panels.
And
yeah.
this here, this is ultra fine and ultra detailed in the center, this whole scene. Tell me about that.
The gun was manufactured from roughly 1896 to the late 1930s.
Mm-hmm.
But it had a lot of prominence, and part of its legacy goes back to the wars, World War I and with the Chinese and different
mm-hmm.
things. And so it just seemed logical to take it back and make it more of a historical piece.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the panels that are on it, it really gives an engraver an opportunity to create some kind of a picture.
Yeah, it does, really.
And so I went back and decided, let's do some World War I scenes. The gun has a nice history as part of World War I,
Absolutely.
as part of the weaponry, so it seemed like a natural thing to do.
But this panel right there, when I looked at it, I said, well, that's some sort of photo etching, but it's not, right?
No, it's all hand cut.
That is all hand cut and done, that ultra, ultra fine. It's just unbelievable to me. Speaking of the fine engraving, there's these panels here that I've seen around the show. And tell me about these. Why do you make these?
Okay, these are resin castings.
Mm-hmm.
We take an original engraving, whether it is a piece of a gun, which most of these are,
mm-hmm.
or a plate such as this. We make a silicone rubber mold, and then from that mold, we will create these castings.
And the purpose of that is?
Well, I think there are at least three purposes, at least for me. One, it's a record of my work, which is important.
Mm-hmm. Because often your work goes on to someone else.
Well, it goes on to somebody else.
The customer.
And
yeah.
we have some photographs and some things, but this is actually something tangible that you can hold
mm-hmm.
on to. Another good purpose is you go into a show or you talk to a client and you don't have the original piece with you to show a new client, potential new client,
okay.
what you're capable of doing, or different styles to help them make a decision of what they actually want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you can walk into a show with a plastic casting mm-hmm. and nobody questions you. But if you walk in with a gun, then you have all kinds of questions.
Right.
So it's really good to show to
Beautiful.
Clients and other people to show what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And a third
TSA is not going to give you a problem with this.
No, they're not going to. No, that's true. But guns don't go on airplanes quite as easy. I do quite a bit of teaching. And for people that want to be engravers and learn the art, this is a really good way to be able to study. These castings, they'll pick up a thumbprint if you're not careful. If you don't wipe off your plate clean before you take the mold, the mold's so good that the fingerprint will show up in the casting.
Okay.
So a student can come and study the casting and see where the lines are made, shade lines, or in a scene like this, how we created rocks, water, trees, whatever, the hair for the animals, the direction, the length, how deep they are. It's a really good study aid for students.
Well, it seems to me it'd be just like going into the museums and studying the old masters.
Yeah, it kind of is.
To understand the strokes and styles. That's fantastic.
We want to be called young masters, but you know.
And these are called?
They're castings.
Okay, so that would be the proper term in this community?
Yeah. If you said casting, I think any of the engravers would know what you were talking about.
And just tell me a little bit about your teaching.
My teaching? I do some private instruction when people want some. They call me up. I don't necessarily push it or advertise it, but I do that, and I'm willing to do that. And I do teach some classes for Lendo Corporation, GRS.
Okay.
They sell engraving equipment.
Right.
And I will go out there several times a year to teach 1 week workshops or classes for them.
Okay, well, if you want to learn from one of the masters, this is the place.